Good afternoon, everybody. Today you join me from the bedroom. We could have gone outside if it weren't for the next door neighbour getting their lawnmower out for the third time this week. But yeah, the sun did dry out the chair that I would have loved to sit in yesterday. So today's agenda is going to be a race review of Alchester 5K from last night. What went well, what could have potentially gone better, and the general overall results. So the race started at 7:05. It was scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. There was quite a bit of traffic. I think there was a fuel spill somewhere on the M40, which caused quite a lot of delays. So thanks to the race director for dropping the start back a little bit, gave people a little bit more time to get ready. Weather was a little bit on the warm side. It was about, I think it was 21 or 22 degrees. Perfect night personally for a 5k. I'd say in the region of 11 to 12 degrees, not ridiculously warm like it has been, or 20's doable over 5k, but it's still, it might just play in the back of your mind. You're sort of thinking, oh, I don't want to overdo it because it's too hot and I'll overheat or something. So the plan was essentially to just get a PB. Anything on top of that will be fantastic. Current PB was, as mentioned yesterday, last year's 15:53/54. I can never remember quite what I was given at Cumnor 5k, which is a comparatively hilly course. It's essentially, it's a two-lapper. You go up into Cumnor. It's quite a big hill for a 5k, as mentioned, and then you come back down it. So it evens out. It's an evenly elevated course, but with any course, if the start and finish is at the same point, if it's hilly in between, it's gonna be slower than a completely flat course. So official results from last night: I finished first with a time of 15 minutes 29. That is a 24-second PB from last year, not only winning the race but also breaking the course record, which not completely difficult to do because it was a new course from last year, so it's only had 1 year to have been broken. But if it's there to break, then I'll take the bonus of breaking the course record. So the course consists of 2 laps. You've got a smaller 2k lap, and then you've got a larger 3k lap. Then the last 200 meters is on grass coming into the finish, but apart from that, it's all on flat tarmac road. So me and Matthew Marshall from Headington, we set off at, the first K was about 3:05. I had my watch set to buzz off every mile. I was pondering switching it up before the start of the race, but I was too busy getting warmed up, just making sure everything else was right. I didn't want to deal with sorting my watch out at the same time, just in case I forget something else. So first K was 3:05. Then we picked it up a little bit I think there's a slight downhill on that second K. That was closer to 3 minutes. K3 was about 3:05. And then the last 2K were about 3:10, give or take. We raced together up till about 4K. I decided to kick on that 4k mark and hope that he didn't catch me or chase me, or obviously he was chasing me, but not catch back up from the kick I made. And thankfully he didn't. I do have a tendency to look back sometimes once I've kicked, just to see if I've made a gap, if I've kept the gap. But I got it in my mind last night to just keep looking ahead. That's where you're running, because if you look behind you, you don't know what's going to happen when you turn around. There might be a car coming the other direction, and then you're on the floor, and then you've definitely lost your time. So with that 3:05-ish K pace, 3:06 average, that's actually, according to Strava at least, sub 5 minute mile, which was that's pretty. I'm pretty happy with that. Can't lie. I do have a 427, 428 in the mile. So there's definitely, I think there's room for improvement with the heat. Potentially, if there was a faster person there who was going in that sort of 15:15 to 15 dead range. Potentially me and Matthew would have gone with him, because I haven't done a 5k race all out since, apart from some parkruns I've done quite quickly, since coming to last year. So there's a little bit in the back of my head saying I'd rather win this race than get a faster time. The shoes actually is one thing I want to come on to. I wore the Vaporfly 2s in a lovely black colourway with the purple round the back, around the what's it called, the outsole. I do like the shoe. The one problem I'm having with it, and I've had it recently, I've done about 75 miles in them, and I've not had that much trouble since, apart from in this race, and I did Tame 10k in late June. I've been starting to get a blister. I won't show it because that we don't want to deal with that. It wasn't too bad last night. It's red, but it hasn't fully blistered. But at Tame it went, and yeah, I had to deal with it. So I might look at potentially sending those back, if they're nice enough. As much as Nike get flack for how the shoes are made and what have you, I personally think they've got good customer service in terms of, if you've got a problem with your shoes, they will, as long as you've got the proof, they will say, go on, just send it back, we'll sort it out, and you get most if not all your money back. And then there's the team performance. I believe we haven't had official results yet, because there was a bit of a problem with one of the other club members. They'd done a transfer properly, but then they actually, when they've done it on the entering system, they hadn't changed the name and the age category. So the women's, I believe the Whitney women's team were first, because I went on the results after, and I did a bit of maths. The men's team, I believe, is either third or fourth, because on the night, Abingdon's men won it, which was fine in terms of the results being correct. But for the Grand Prix, we're not sure, because on the night at Alchester, it was only 3 people to score, but for the Grand Prix, it's 4. So we'll just have to see how that extra person comes into it. Headington had a strong enough men's team, so I think they'll probably be second, but they had quite a weak women's team comparatively last night. So, as I said, I think Whitney women's team won, and that should put them a little bit closer to that first place in the Grand Prix overall standings. And then on an individual basis, I would get 100 points for being first in the Grand Prix, because I've beaten. How the individual works is it's based on the percentage of people you beat. So I get 100%, and then it just trickles down to 99, 98 from there. So that would further increase my lead. I've got 4 or 5 100-pointers now. There was Hooky on Sunday. I wasn't first, I was second, but the guy that won it isn't part of an Oxfordshire club, so I think I'll still get 100 points for that. We'll see. So I got 4 or 5 race wins on the Grand Prix, so that puts me on 500 or 600 points. So yes, that's going well as well. And we've got 4 rounds. Or is it 5 rounds left? I did this not that long ago. Headington, Whitney 10, Woodstock, Abingdon Marathon, Ensham, which isn't open for entries yet, and Hanny, which is the only one that is soon that hasn't opened yet. That's normally the second week of October. Hopefully not the same weekend as Chippenham Half. Not Chippenham Half, Cricklade Half. I can miss one if I want to. I'd rather not. I quite like doing them. And he's normally quite a late start as well, which I do prefer. So yeah, we'll just see if it does open, when it is, and we'll go from there. So that's about all I can think of for today in terms of yesterday's race. I'm sure there's stuff that I'll remember 5 minutes after I've finished and won't be able to add on, but as is life. So yeah, like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and hopefully you'll stick around and see what else I've got to bring. There's a potential race that I might be doing Sunday at Evesham, another 5k. Potentially there, not necessarily to get increase on the PB, but there is a bit of a prize pool there, so that has certainly caught my eye. So we might be going there on Sunday and might be able to get some race footage as well. So until next time, which might be tomorrow, and if not, Sunday. Yeah, bye.